What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. What's happening, guys? How's everything going? How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you've had time to digest this past weekend of football. Hey, the Steelers got their first loss of the season. To some of you, it shouldn't be much of a surprise. To some of you, you are pretty pissed off. I think all feelings are valid. But we'll talk a little bit more about the game, man, and I'll just kind of give my thoughts on, what I kind of saw from watching the All-22. By the way, I've put out that footage already for those of you who are channel members, so it is up, it is there. I know a few of you have watched it. I encourage you to watch it, man, because you see things differently when you're able to digest the film. And I got a secret to tell y'all too here in a moment that y'all are gonna laugh at me about. But let's get into it, man. Let's say hello to the early commenters and then we'll dive right in. First up, my man, Mark Cunningham is in the building. The lovely Lanisha is in the building. Hold on, guys. A little too bright. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me see something. There we go. The lovely Lanisha is in the building. Hello, Lanisha, and to all of our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation, make sure you guys give them a proper hello. You roll out the red carpet and you treat them with care. Always good to see you. Thank you for coming by, Lanisha, like always. Steeler Cards is in the building. Sonny Rothmiller is in the building. Jared Devil, Lee Sharp, Walter Worthy, C.T. Pittman. Who else we got up in here, man? Vista Light. Hello, Elisa Shepard, another lovely lady of the Steeler Nation family. We love when you guys come through. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Good to see you like always. Who else is up in here, man? Jermaine White in the building. Crazy Ron Gaming is here. My good brother Kenyon in the building as well. What else? Oh, wow. Did not know that. Did not know that, man. Kenyon just passed some news along I did not know. And I'm going to join in with Kenyon and say, rest in peace to Robert Redford. Absolutely, guys. One of those old school actors, man. Kenyon is saying here he was Brad Pitt before Brad Pitt. Some of you may agree with that, but yeah, man, some of you younger folk here in the chat, y'all might not even know who Robert Redford is. But again, if you are a movie buff like I am, if you watched a healthy dose of TV, well, I'll just say movies, even past movies, you would know who Robert Redford is. So I'm definitely sorry to hear that. If you can you post, how old was Robert Redford? I'm pretty sure he was, pretty up there in age. I'm not sure. It's a lot of those guys like that, man, that I don't necessarily know how old they are now. Some of those guys that I watched when I was a kid, right, that were already older, guys like Robert Redford, guys like Gene Hackman, rest in peace to him, guys like Richard Dreyfuss, Richard Gere, all of these type of guys, they're probably older guys now, right? You know what I mean? So what's my other guy, my other man from... what's my man's name, man? Some of y'all know who I'm talking about. He was the detective in John Q that was doing the negotiation. What's my guy's name, man? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Like guys like him, those older guys like that, man, they're probably way older than I thought. Yeah, see, look, 89. Man, he was 89 years of age, man. Wow, listen, really quick before we get into a round of applause to Robert Redford, man. Long life right there, man. Round of applause and a slight moment of silence. There it is. Shout outs to Robert Redford, man. May he rest in peace. Like I said, guys, if you get to 89 years of age, what a blessing it is. What a blessing, what a blessing, what a blessing. I can't remember my other man's name, man. One of you guys might be able to remind me. If any of y'all, I don't know, as many movies this dude was in, but I'm seeing his face, not Robert Redford. It's another one of those older actors. I'm seeing his face in John Q, because John Q was just on. Matter of fact, hold on, guys. I'm going to just pull it up. My bad, guys. I know y'all here for Steeler business, and we about to get to it. But hold on, guys. I got to look my guy up. Hold on. As soon as I say his name, y'all going to be like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Hold on. Let me find him. Where is he? Of course, they're not showing him right away. Of course, he's not right away. And I'm not talking about Ray Liotta. The other guy. Duvall. There we go. Thank you, Walter Worthy. Robert Duvall. Like guys like that. So again, it's all of those guys, man. When I was a kid watching TV, they were probably already older. What I mean, they probably was already in their 50s. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So yeah, man, all of those gentlemen, man, you know, they hold a place in your heart if you watched movies back then. Because, you know, these were the people that you saw, the Chevy Chases of the world, the Dan Aykroyds, you know, all of those people, man. So shout outs to those guys. But anyway, man, let's get to some Steeler business, guys. I guess the first and foremost thing to talk about, what we learned from Mike Tomlin's presser. And I'm going to speak on it from a slightly different lens. And some of you guys will agree and some of you guys won't agree. Before I do that, we'll just talk about what he mentioned as far as injuries. Joey Porter Jr., you know, still dealing with some things. I guess we'll see what happens. Already ruled out is guys like, obviously, Derek Harmon. He also already ruled out more questionable guys like Deshaun Elliott. And I think he may have even said Joey Porter Jr. may have been questionable as well. I think. But he talked about Patrick Queen kind of getting banged up in the game, but it shouldn't limit his participation. Who else was questionable? I think Alex Highsmith is a less severe situation, but, you know, he could possibly be questionable as well. There's one other guy, and I'm forgetting, guys. Who else went out with a sprain? Somebody else went out with a sprained ankle. You guys may have been paying attention. I can't remember who the other person was, but Alex Highsmith's wasn't as bad as the other gentleman, and I cannot remember who it is now. Can't remember who it is, guys. But I apologize. Listen, I was trying to listen to the conference while at work, so, you know, I was hearing it, but Wilson, there we go. Was it Wilson? Is Peyton Wilson? No, Loudermilk. There you go. I think it was Loudermilk. So yeah, Loudermilk has a more severe ankle sprain, and Alex Highsmith's is a less severe. So we'll see. But guys, listen, the defense is getting a little thin in terms of rotational guys. You know, again, with being down Derek Harmon and also now being down Isaiah Loudermilk, is going to be guys like what's my man's name? I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I think it's Equale. I think his name is spelled Ekuale, I think. Number 96 is what he wears, so you're probably going to see more snaps from him. But the Steelers are going to have to find a way to piece it together, man. Listen, when you're in the NFL and you put a 53-man roster together, as well as you put together a practice squad, then you got to make it happen, right? You got to put a solid roster together, and it's got to be next man up mentality. I'm sure we'll see more of, what's the kid's name? Logan Lee will probably get some time as well. So there you have it. But outside of that, I wanted to take a little quick perspective as far as Mike Tomlin's presser. Some of you guys are going to disagree with me. I can tell you that, right? Because the mere statement that I'm going to make, you guys are going to disagree. I know you are. By the way, I see my good buddy Mr. Winningham in here in the building, man. I appreciate you coming by, sir. It just reminded me, and I know I'm all over the place right here, guys, but it reminded me that, yes, we do still have, hold on. Let me just get the link. Hold on real quick. Hold on. We do still have the Discord tonight that we're going to use to accept phone calls. And let me put it in the link, guys. Hold on. Sorry for the double audio. I just had to cut the stream on my phone. Hold on. 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to post it. There you go. Now, this should be the link. Let me check, though, on my end. Hold on. Let me make sure. It should be the link. If not, I will find the actual link. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Yeah, that should be the link. And we'll get you guys up in there. If not, I'll just go directly in there and send an invite. But yeah, that's all I have right now as far as being able to accept phone calls. So we have the Discord, and hopefully we'll get that popping here a little bit later. But let me just say this. I know some of you guys are going to disagree with what I'm going to say, because the one mere word that I'm going to say is going to tick some of you guys off, because y'all totally will disagree. But here's what I got. Whether you guys want to admit it or not, Mike Tomlin absolutely knows football and knows what he's talking about. Let me explain what I'm saying. If you really listen to what he has to say, right? When you listen to the recap of what happened in the game, why we fell short, what we could have done better, key moments of the game. When you listen to him talk about it, he outlines it perfectly. I'm not saying he does that above any other coach. What I'm saying is, for anybody who feels like he doesn't know football or doesn't know what he's doing, he sure enough can really lend to you exactly what happened in the game, right? And I'm not talking about you guys agreeing or disagreeing with a call. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about a lot of the little minutia things and the nuance things that if you really listen to him, he really explains, yeah, this was a key moment. This was a moment. This was a moment. This was a moment. Da-da-da-da-da, because of this. And I'm like, guys, if you're not paying attention or if you don't know the game, there's no way you can outline the outcome like that. And I know this sounds silly, but I have to say that because, again, people flood my DMs and things like that on social saying, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, guys, okay. But I just wanted to say that because, again, watching the All 22, I was really able to study and piece together some things that I saw that some of you guys might not realize if you're just watching the TV tape, right? And it's not just talking. It's not just saying what he wants people to hear. Sometimes it's literally exactly what is laid out. Or I'll use one of his phrases. There's nothing mythical about it. And it's very interesting, man. If you guys have the opportunity, you should watch the All 22. You should really watch it, because I'm telling you, a lot of what I'm seeing, and that's what brings me to my main topic of the night, and I'm going to get into it. The question is, a lot of people want to know, or a lot of people ask, especially when we lose. Mind you, when we lose football games, the question from most of Steeler Nation is there something wrong with the scheme? Is it the scheme that just doesn't work? I got into this a little bit on Sunday. I will continue to say this today. I'm not talking about yesteryear As some years past, I think all of us could agree that there were some scheme problems. And I will even tell you what problem I have with part of our scheme tonight. But largely, if we're talking about the run defense, largely what I came away from watching the All-22 is not a scheme issue. It is a man issue. It is an execution issue. It is you winning your matchup or losing your matchup issue. Case in point, Seattle ran a lot of the same type of runs that we did. Literally, down to the formation. There was times when Seattle was in 12 and they had the two tight ends lined up kind of off the line, and it just looked like it was like a 9-man line. They run in zone split where they bring this guy to come block backside and the player's going to the right, and then the zone run and Kenneth Walker has to decide. It was identical, guys. Trust me what I'm telling you. It was identical. There were a lot of plays that looked very similar to what Pittsburgh was running. The difference was how they defense executed and how our guys executed. Here's another thing I'll tell you guys that y'all won't believe. The run defense at times looked really good against Seattle. I know that sounds surprising. I watched every single run play. Before I get into that, let me say something to y'all that I know y'all gonna laugh at, especially my channel members. Because this is something that I have complained about. And all of a sudden, on yesterday, I had an epiphany, a realization. You guys have heard me complain about how bad the All-22 is presented and it's no longer the way it used to be, and da-da-da-da-da, and I can't find a single play, and it only just shows me the full package of All-22. Basically, the hour and something plus minutes, the whole thing runs through. Guys, little did I know, without me doing my full research, the whole time, there was a beautiful, perfect presentation of All-22 right under my nose. Now, when you're on NFL Network and you pay for the premium, there's this additional thing that's called NFL Pro. It is a tab. You click on NFL Pro and it opens the floodgates of unbelievable All-22 film study. So much so, I can look at one player, every snap from this player, every loss of yard, every sack, every interception. I could just put in a player, like, for example, I looked at every single snap Broderick Jones took on passes. Just that. Isolated it it is a amazing presentation. So I'm going to stand here in front of you guys as a man and say I was wrong because it didn't look the way that it used to look. All I had to do was just research a little bit, which I did yesterday. And I kept seeing something say NFL Premium with Pro. And I was like, what is Pro? Then all of a sudden I happened to see it. There's the tab. So again, if you go on NFL.com and you got the NFL Plus, there's a tab that says NFL Pro. You have to go there, and it is beyond advanced analytics. Beautiful All-22 presentation. And guys, let me tell you, for you guys who are channel members, I already posted the video. Cannot see it unless you are a channel member, and I've explained to you guys why it's like that. I will post a link here before we get off tonight. If y'all want to see it, I looked at every single run against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Seahawks game, and I talked about it. So after explaining all that, let me tell y'all, the run defense was not horrible the entire game. Where they were horrible was what I've been saying for the last couple years. allowing the big explosive play. And many times, guys and gals, it was because we didn't win our individual matchup. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. There were too many times where Peyton Wilson was just getting demolished. Just getting demolished. Or there were too many times when Keanu Benton was getting double teamed and he's just completely out of the play. There were too many times when Isaiah Loudermilk was getting put on his back. I saw Cam Hayward holding his ground most of the time. I saw Y.A. Black holding his ground most of the time. There was a couple times, again, there was one where he got double teamed. I saw somebody posted on X. Again, zone blocking scheme. He crashes to the right. He's head up on one guy. He gets double teamed by the guard, knocks him over. And the rest was history. Didn't see enough guys filling the gap the way they're supposed to. Peyton Wilson is not filling the gap or shooting the gap the way he should. Y'all know who actually is? And yeah, you're only going to remember the plays that you thought were bad, but you know who actually was playing a pretty decent game? Patrick Queen. You don't believe me? Go watch the footage. Patrick Queen did not have a horrible game. He didn't. Patrick Queen was shooting the gap, and I'm actually going to use some of the clips to even show my 11-year-old son, soon to be 12, on how he should play inside backer and beat the block. Quite a few times in that game, Patrick Queen read his keys, shot it, he beat the center or the guard before they could get to him, and he shoots the gap, 0 gain, -1, 2-yard gain. No, I'm not saying he was perfect, but I'm telling y'all right now, Patrick Queen is playing inside backer more effectively than Peyton Wilson right now. And even though I know both of those guys, their jobs are kind of different depending on which side they're on, but both of them should be flowing to the ball and reading their keys. Peyton Wilson is not doing a great job of it as of today. But, you know, yeah, man, I'm telling you, Patrick Queen didn't play too bad. Had a couple missed tackles. But again, if you look at just his plays, you will come away from it saying, okay, he just got to clean a little bit up here, but I like what he did right there. And let me qualify this by saying all of this stuff that I'm saying here is just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm not saying it's fact. It's what I believe with my eye test. You guys might watch the footage and feel totally different. So I'm not debating that. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just saying, all I'm saying here tonight is it's just my opinion. So before anybody jumps in the chat and go get reckless saying something crazy, don't do that. You can just disagree. I'm just giving you my opinion from watching the footage. But yeah, Peyton Wilson, he got to pick it up, man. Now, the biggest knock against Patrick Queen, and I'm sure this is the one, he didn't finish that sack on Sam Darnold. But again, I'm going to show you guys how all we do listen, don't take this disrespectfully. This is a true statement, and some of you guys will probably agree. Most people who watch football are casual fans. What do I mean by that? That is not a knock. That means the only thing that you remember is the highlight. Most people are probably remembering Patrick Queen missing the sack against Sam Darnold, and therefore he had a terrible game. I promise you, again, this is my opinion, but this is a strong opinion. I promise you, you take that one play away and you watch the tape, you will come away from it saying, okay, Patrick Queen didn't have a bad game. Trust me, guys, listen, I have no reason to campaign for any of these people. It's the eye test. But absolutely, he has to make that sack. You know, again, it's the same thing that I'm telling my young son at the midget level. You know, that's the division that he's playing in. You can't run right at somebody. You have to square up and make them choose a side. Keep your feet square, keep your shoulders square. When you run beeline right to someone, it makes it very easy for them to evade you. Sam Darnold made a heck of a play, spun out of it, and that was it. But I'm telling you, that is the reason why most people are saying, oh, he had a bad game, he sucks because of that one. Yes, it was a big play, but we've seen a lot of people miss sacks. It happens. But largely, Patrick Queen is doing kind of what we need him to do right now in the run game, chasing things down. I mean, shooting it. We need his sidekick, whether that's going to be Peyton Wilson or Cole Holcomb, to do their job. Now, on the flip side, you look at the footage, because I watched every run play too offensively. Every single run play I watched. We had 21 run attempts. Seattle's front line was holding the point of attack, and a lot of times their inside backers were roaming. Like that kid number 13, roaming, cleaning up. Big number 99 in the middle of that defense was cleaning up. It was execution, guys. And I was seeing Seattle do this out of sub package. Sometimes they were in their base defense, but I saw them do it out of sub as well. It was just them winning their matchups. What the Steelers defense is currently not doing that great. The guys that we need to defeat the block and win they one-on-ones, they're not winning. Like I said, Cam Hayward made a couple of plays in there quietly. Also with the tip ball to get the interception to Herbert. But right now, our front is just not doing enough. And I'm talking about that interior. Those guys are not eating up blocks or commanding double teams to allow the backers to run free. And when they run free, Peyton Wilson is not hitting it. He's not getting there. He's running right into the block a lot. Round of applause to the last King of Scotland, man. I appreciate the Wonder Bread. He says, last King of Scotland says, what is TA doing? Pittsburgh should be the middle of the field, should be a middle of the field closed defense with those starting corners. We should be in too high playing match-up zone underneath. Last King of Scotland, I thank you for that comment, and you're going to take me to my very next point that I was about to make. This is what I do not like about our defensive scheme, whether it's TA or Mike Tomlin. Y'all remember the touchdown pass, the first touchdown pass to, I forget which kid caught it, but the very first touchdown pass that Sam Darnold threw? I showed this in the all-22 footage as well. It was a bonus play at the end. Here's the problem. They ran a play action with only 2 routes. We have our corners playing 10 yards off the ball, 10 to 11 yards. We ran man coverage. We ran a cover 1. Where the free safety has to choose who he's going to help and chase. And one person is going to end up one-on-one. The problem was they ran crossers. They basically ran crossover routes. And the problem is we are trying to play traditional man 10 yards off the ball, meaning chase man, see man, chase man. So Jalen Ramsey was forced to chase him all the way across the field. Clark, I believe, who was the solo safety, it might have been Thornhill. I can't remember what personnel was out there. He gets in the way, so he kind of gets in the way of Jalen Ramsey, and there's no way he can get to this guy before he gets to the ball, to the pylon where Sam Darnold threw it. But here's the problem. You're never going to beat or be able to cover any type of crossing route like that. What the Steelers need to adopt, they have to play like a man match, a pass-off man. What I mean by that, you guys have seen it. Some of y'all have not. A lot of times you see it, disciplined team. I've seen shout outs to the old Bill Belichick days in New England. He used to do it all the time in the red zone, in the end zone. They would pass off everything. Remember, guys, the game against the Dallas Cowboys last year when we ran pass off coverage? But I forget who it was. Was it Beanie Bishop? Beanie Bishop didn't pass it off. He chased inside, and then it forced who was the safety in that game? I'm trying to remember. Can't remember right now, but it forced him to try to chase the guy. Still almost made the play, but they made the catch, and we lost the game on that fourth down. And I said then, had Beanie Bishop would have switched off and allowed him to go inside and he chases the guy outside, it would have been defended. And Dak would have been sacked. We actually did it on the other side of the field, but on that particular play, Beanie Bishop blew it. But again, the Steelers will need to adopt that if they want to run man coverage. Because teams are just going to throw man beaters at you. If you have an opportunity to go watch it, go watch that play. Crossers, safety comes down the middle, gets in the way of Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is no way he's going to catch that kid, and it's an easy touchdown. But, and I showed it on the footage, it was a point where they were about this close together. If we would have been playing more of a pass-off man coverage, and this guy would have ran with the guy coming at him, and then the other corner, Slade would have ran at the guy coming towards him, it was locked up. He had nowhere to go. It was two guys on the route. Well, I'm sorry. There were three guys. The tight end ran like a little out route. Not even an out route. It was like a flat route. And we had that covered. It wouldn't have worked. So that is the part of the scheme that I feel like needs to change. Maybe you don't have to do that on every play, but you got to employ some type of match man. Because if you're going to play straight up man coverage, stop lining them 10 yards off of the ball. We still doing it, y'all. We are still giving up the inside routes. Why? That is my biggest question, and I didn't even mean to go on this tirade, but I'm doing it. That is the biggest question I have for Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin if Mike Tomlin is heavily involved in the defense. Why do we continue to play so much off coverage? You went out and got Jalen Ramsey, who is a physical corner. You went out and got Darius Slay, who also is supposed to be known to be able to play more man coverage. You got Joy Porter Jr. Wasn't on the field Sunday, but again, even with Joy Porter Jr., we still do it. Why? I would rather lose mano a mano where we up on them. And I'm not saying you got to do bump and run or press every time, but get on them. Get up on them at least 4 or 5 yards. If we just gonna do straight up man where it's me chasing you, mirroring your route, you can't do that 10 and 11 yards off the ball. There's no way you can cover any inside route in the NFL if you are that far off the ball and you're giving them the inside leverage. Again, I am not sitting in this seat claiming that I know more defense than Terrell Austin or more defense in football than Mike Tomlin. No, I know Mike Tomlin knows the game, but all I want to know is why do we keep doing the same thing? Try something else. You quote unquote got the corners now that you can play this style. Ain't got to be every play. You can alternate. But can I at least get a couple situational moments where my corners is up on it? Because we see other teams in the NFL do it. And sometimes it's a lesser talent. Sometimes it ain't the stud corner that's doing it. Some teams just put their dogs out there and be like, yo, go hunt. You gonna get beat or we gonna win or you gonna get beat. Or we gonna live with the result. My bad, y'all. I just had to go there for a minute. I had to go there. Round of applause to CT Pittman, man. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, brother. CT Pittman says, what's telling is we talking about the same defensive issues in 2025 that we saw in 24. We play better D on the video game football. Yeah, man, again, like I said, guys, listen, y'all know how I feel about the coach. I don't care what nobody else says. I think Mike Tomlin is a great football coach and has been. But that's a question I just don't understand it. Whether it's him with his heavy hand in the defense or if it's him allowing his defensive coach to coach, I don't understand that. And maybe if I was able to sit down with them, they might explain to me like, well, okay, I see how you're viewing it, but let me explain why we do this. And actually the percentage is not as high as you think. They might be able to break it down to me where I can say, oh, okay. But as an onlooker, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, don't get it. I don't know, man. I don't know. But like I said, it's interesting. I read some of you guys' comments, man, and y'all just have it in. Y'all have it in for the coach, man. So that's, like I said, we don't have to debate how we all feel personally about him. I do think some of the things some of you guys say is a little over the top. But yeah, it is what it is, man. But I don't get that part. That's the only thing I don't understand. Interesting. But other than that, man, I promise you guys, if you get an opportunity to watch the film, like I said, I have the video out there. Hold on, guys. Let me grab a couple links to share with y'all because I want to get you guys into the Discord. Give me a second. I got to pull up the stream on my PC so I can chat to y'all in there. Hold on. Appreciate the viewership, man. I see we got about, what we got up in here? Got 83 folks watching. I appreciate that, man. Love y'all. Let me pause it so it doesn't give double audio, but here we go. I'm going to shoot you guys the Discord link right now so I could get you guys up in here so we can chat it up. Where is it? Invite friends, copy link. Here's the link for the Discord, guys. If you want to, quote unquote, call in, here's the first link right here. You must have a Discord account. I know it's not my preference, guys, but this is the best I got right now. Also, I'm going to shoot you the video. Again, this is just something that I can offer to you guys. If you want to see it, I have it. And I'm going to post a link to this video, but this footage is only available for those of you who are channel members. You will have to join the channel in order to see this footage. But here it is. It's 42 minutes worth. Let me get the link. 42 minutes worth of me going through every run play. Every single run play that was ran against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. And again, if it's worth it to you, I would say it's worth a good watch, man. You guys might want to check it out. Oh my goodness, what's going on? What you guys doing out here, man? The Wonder Bread is flowing. First of all, round of applause to CT Pittman, but then also big time round of applause to, who is this, man? James Webb. Good God. You guys are going crazy with the Wonder Bread, man. I thank y'all so much. And let me get to your comments. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate y'all wholeheartedly. Let's get to it. CT Pittman says, how much of it is the players? I just don't think we are like that any longer, especially after watching other games from other teams. Yes, this is what I'm saying, CT. It's not the scheme. The scheme is the easy thing for people to say. Oh, the scheme sucks. Oh, let me tell y'all something. I said this Sunday. Do y'all know there's quite a few teams that run the same scheme as we do defensively? And it works. Again, I didn't study what Seattle was running, but I can at least say there were times that they were running sub package where they were nickel and their front was making things happen. A lot of it is just these individual matchups or the individual not able to win in his scenario. Now, I understand when you get double teamed, I get it, but I'm saying watching the footage, it wasn't enough times where our front and backers were winning. However, when you look at all of the plays collectively, there were plays Sunday that we played it perfect. I even saw a play where Keanu Benton got through, ripped the guy, made a tackle in the backfield. I'm like, see? But it was just other times they just weren't winning. Tomlin said something interesting today in the presser. He said they wore down. He said, that's a problem. He said there were spots in that game where we were playing to run fairly decent early on, gave up an explosive run on the first drive, but then they did kind of buckle down a little bit. But then as the game went on, they wore down. They have to be better. So I'm telling you, man, again, one of the best things I ever did was invest in the All-22. Where I can, especially if you understand football a little bit, it enlightens, it opens up so many things that you guys wouldn't even imagine, that you start seeing things differently. James Webb, man, you just went crazy, man. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Let's read the comment. He says, Sim, missed the family. Been working at this time, unfortunately. Oh, he says, more complimentary football since O-line is poor at the moment. Why do we tend to run longer developing plays, open it up to start, then go to play action stuff later? Yeah, you know what? I do agree with that. And the funny thing is, James, it looks like they did dial it back a little bit. Somebody actually asked Tomlin that in the presser. It's like, you didn't run as much play action. So it looks like they did try to dial it back, but you're absolutely right in that point against the Jets. Some of those play actions was like, clearly they were going to be hit like deep shots down the field. And that was showing a lot of confidence in your offensive line, particularly Broderick Jones early. That was showing a lot of confidence early, right? That maybe we just can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to have to slow walk it a little bit until we hit a groove. Now, again, it's week 2, guys, so I'm not in panic mode. Some of you guys are. I think these guys can improve. It's funny because we've seen this happen. Year after year, we've seen slow starts and then they hit a run. A couple years we got spoiled and they was undefeated, for 6-7 games. But slow walk the dog, man. Yes, Mr. Wood, CY, you're right. He says he agrees. All 22 will open your eyes. I'm telling y'all, man. Listen, I'm telling y'all. It will open your eyes, guys. It will. You'll just start seeing things differently. And sometimes you might understand my opinion in certain aspects. Now, a couple other things I wanted to hit on before I get you guys on in the Discord. 2 players I want to talk about, man, that I want them to see more time, and they definitely will see more time. Unfortunately, with Alex Highsmith being down for a little bit. Nick Herbig. I learned something about Nick Herbig that I kind of knew, but it was evident at times in this past game watching the film. This was a question I had about Nick Herbig early on, right? And he proved it to me. A couple of times I've seen it in the past, but definitely in this game. Nick Herbig can set the edge, guys. Remember when he first came around, remember my first concern about him was like, yeah, he's a little bit smaller, not necessarily a small man, but he's not the big, stout. He's not built like TJ or Jack Sawyer, a little smaller. Nick Herbig set the edge quite a few times. Nick Herbig is a baller. Again, some people would say, man, it's hard to, take the guys off the field that's on the field, being TJ and Alex Highsmith. I concur. But I also would say we got to find ways to get Nick Herbig more opportunity because he's just a baller. And I think we all saw that in his rookie year. That's not a surprise, right? Here's another guy. Jack Sawyer had a couple moments in that game too now. Yeah. Jack Sawyer had a couple moments. Again, it's hard to recognize these things, guys, when we're losing. But again, I'm going to be like a broken record here. When you watch the All 22, you start seeing the game different and you really can look at people and say, okay, all right. Okay, he did good on that play, even though we didn't make that tackle. He did good on his side. Like, it's a lot of little moments that you start seeing. But Jack Sawyer made some stout plays too. And he is a big boy. So there's definitely room to get Jack Sawyer on the field. Like, what we might have to do too is, that formation we go in sometimes where we got 3 outside backers on the field. We might need to see more of that. At times when teams are running the football, where it's TJ, it's Alex, and it's Jack, or TJ, Jack, and Nick Herbig. Yeah, those two guys. I saw a couple little things from them that I'm like, all right. Appreciate that. I think we got a pretty solid four-man rotation right there, man. If we can keep everybody healthy. Couple other things, guys. Y'all want me to tell y'all something else that y'all ain't gonna agree with me on? Broderick Jones didn't have a bad game, folks. Again, this is just my opinion, my observation, my eye test. I went into the All 22, I typed in Broderick Jones, and I looked at every single pass protection. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible in this game against the Seattle Seahawks. It wasn't. Sorry to report that, because some of y'all hate him. I'm sorry to report it, but it wasn't bad. Really wasn't. Really quick, after this donation, I'm gonna give you guys the outline of the 3 sacks that happened in the game. Round of applause to Eric Rivera. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, brother. Appreciate it. Fully agree, Eric. You're absolutely correct, man. He says that touchback that turned into a touchdown and the interception took a lot of momentum. Yeah. Absolutely, man. That bonehead play. And I feel so bad for Caleb Johnson, man. I hope this doesn't, damper any confidence that the kid could have. Get over it, get better, be better. But that hurt. That hurt significantly. That hurt. Round of applause again to CT Pittman, man. Y'all laying it on thick tonight, man. I appreciate y'all. CT says Rodgers was late on some throws as well. Yes. Let me give y'all my quick outline. Oh, yeah, that's right. Eric McDuffie. Tomlin said he will not be returning kicks for the foreseeable future. So we'll see. But he says he's leaving the door open for him to have an opportunity to rebound. But, he got to let it sting a little bit. But yeah. So, first sack. Steelers were sacked 3 times in this game. The first sack came in the second quarter at 11 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock. It was a 3rd and 7. This was primarily a coverage sack. It was primarily a coverage sack. What happened in that instance? I'm trying to remember it visually, but what I actually could do, hold on. I'm going to do something. Hold on, guys. I can't show it to you because the NFL will get me. But hold on. I'm actually going to pull it up again and break it down while we're here on screen so I can remember. All right. So like I said, hold on, let me put it on the end zone view. Give me a second, guys. I'm telling you, silly me that I complaining, and the whole time it was this beautiful presentation of all 22 that they have tucked in a new feature called NFL Pro. I mean, it's so advanced, guys. So I'm looking at the 3 sacks. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers were on their own 24. And this is what happened on the play. I'm going to let it play. All right, Aaron Rodgers puts Jalen Warren in motion. He drops back. Broderick Jones is doing a good job on his pass block. Rodgers looks to the right. He gets a little pressure, kind of up the middle. Not from Frazier, but Seahawks. Seahawks' guys pushed back into Aaron Rodgers. Aaron goes to the right, tries to step up in the middle. There's a little seam right there, but the guy reaches out with his left hand. Seahawks is blocking his right shoulder, so Aaron kind of hesitates, and he has nowhere to go. He tries to cut back to the right side of Zach Frazier. Nowhere to go. What's interesting, though, is Roman Wilson pops open the middle, and he's wide open. Wide open. But I'm here to tell you, if you guys were able to see this, the pressure wasn't, Broderick Jones didn't do anything bad. Dude tried to do a speed rush to the outside, and he did what you teach every left tackle, ride him on to the outside. Your quarterback should step up in the pocket. It develops that C, right? Broderick Jones catches him, pushes him to the outside, but Seahawks was the reason why this was more pressure that caused Aaron Rodgers to step up, because, again, he stepped up because both Broderick Jones and Fautanu, and who was that blocking with Fautanu? Mason McCormick got the double team. They got the C forming. But again, the guy kind of gets away from Seahawks a little bit, and Aaron is not comfortable to stop and throw it. But if we had a half second more, Roman Wilson is wide open in the middle of the field. That's a sack. The next sack came at second quarter with 20 seconds left. 1st and 10 from the Pittsburgh 20-yard line. Now, I have my notes. I'm going to read my notes first, then I'm going to go look at the play again. I wrote here, Seahawks ran a stunt. Seahawks gives up, instant pressure inside. Rodgers steps up, and Broderick Jones' man was able to shed his block to the left, and it was a combined tackle. Yep, that's exactly what happened, but I'm going to watch it again. All right. Aaron Rodgers play action fake to Gainwell coming from right to left. Seahawks gives instant pressure. The Seahawks are in like this super wide set where I'm going to tell y'all how they lined up. The end is way out. Like the end is probably 3 yards off of the tackle, like extended to the right shoulder of Fautanu. You got you have it's a linebacker standing up. He's on the right shoulder of Seahawks. So you got 2 guys on the outside of the line. Nobody in the A gap or the B gap. On the other side, you have the D tackle with his hand down in the ground. He's lined up in between Broderick Jones and Freiermuth. So basically the C gap, or if you're using numbers, that's the 5 gap, right? So The other end is probably 2 or 3 yards to the left of Pat Fryermuth. So here's how the stunt develops. They all crash inside. So the tackle ends up on the right shoulder of Seumalo. And remember what I said. He was lined up on the left shoulder of Broderick Jones. At the snap of the ball, he ends up attacking Seumalo's right shoulder, pushes him all the way back into Rodgers. Broderick Jones is doing a great job. Fautanu pulls his guy all the way around behind Rodgers. But Aaron has nowhere to go. There's a hole wide open to his right. He tries to escape it, but it's too late. Broderick Jones's man is able to shed to his left, Jones's right, and him and Seumalo's guy makes the tackle for the sack. Now here's the last one. Here's my notes before I even look at the play again. 3 minutes and 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Rodgers held the ball for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. And I think it was a little longer than that because I timed it with the little stopwatch on my iPhone. Literally held the ball for 5 seconds. This was a play where no tight end on the line as far as in tight. He's kind of split out. Jonnu split out a little bit. You got the 2 tackles, the 2 guards, and the center. We're going to send Jaylen Warren in motion, but then he comes back and he lines up on Rodgers' left side, drops back. They try to run another little D&E game. Broderick Jones and Seumalo picks it up really good. But once again, there's nowhere to go. And Aaron Rodgers holds the ball way too long. And he ends up turning into the guy that Broderick Jones blocked. Broderick Jones actually, let me see, I'm going to count it. He connects and reconnects with this guy 3 times. Hold on. Snap of the ball. Passed him to Seumalo. Picks up the next guy. Disengages. Picks him up again. And then Rodgers runs right into him. But I'm here to say all of this, guys, is Broderick Jones did not have a bad game, in my opinion. He didn't. He blocked a lot better in this game. A lot better. A lot. Channel members, I'm going to try to do something different this week. This is the reason why I got the All 22 out to you guys yesterday. I think for the rest of this week, I might pick some other aspects to show. Now that I can chop it up like this, I think the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go through some of the pass protection. And I'm going to show you, do another independent video and show you maybe about 10 to 15 plays of that to show you can see how he's blocking. And we'll just look at the offensive line. And then I might come back later on in the week and we'll take a look at what's going on in the secondary. Because I want to show that touchdown pass again. But, yeah, man, it's just not... It's not as bad as you guys think, man. I think if the Steelers can just find a way. And here it is, guys. I'm going to send this the link to the Discord again. Again, guys, I apologize that it has to be this way, but you need an account. You need an account in Discord in order to come on into the channel. And I can bring you on for a quote-unquote phone conversation. So I'm going to post a link one more time and I'll wait for a few minutes to see if anybody jumps on. If not, we can go ahead and close the show out. But ultimately, like I said, guys, it's really not the defensive scheme, man. I just think it's individuals not winning or being great. And that's what I got for you, man. That's what I got for you. That's what I got for you. But let me see what y'all got in the chat, man, while we wait to see if anybody joins the Discord. What y'all got in the chat? Let's see what y'all got in here. What y'all been chopping up since I've been talking? Oh, hold on. James Webb, my bad. I didn't see you had dropped another Wonder Bread, man. You trying to you trying to get up to a hundo? What you doing, man? I appreciate you. Yeah. Yep. He was. He says Seam 76 was the culprit this week. Happy Feet doesn't have an age restriction. We have to limit QB hits. Yeah. Now, again, we only gave up 3 sacks. And I say only because it's still a young offensive line with 2 young tackles. But I would say from my observation, and again, guys, channel members, we'll take a look at it again. Maybe we'll go through all the pass plays like I did earlier. We'll just run through them, because we don't really have to study them until we see pressure, and then we can stop and study. From what I remember seeing when I was watching Broderick, Fautanu definitely was giving up more pressure in this game than Broderick Jones. Absolutely. So another part of that, guys, is this is what we're going to have to deal with. Unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with it. I do see we have at least one in the Discord, so I'm coming right to you in just a second. But this is what we're going to have to deal with, guys. They're young, right? So it's one of those things, man, where I've said this before, the luxury that we have as Steelers fans is oh, there we go. I unmuted in Discord so the caller can hear me as well. I'm about to come to you in just a second. But the luxury that we have and the unfortunate luxury that we are accustomed to is the Steelers are accustomed to winning. Yes, we haven't won a playoff game since 2016, and we haven't won a Super Bowl since, which one was it? The one against the Cardinals. But we are conditioned to winning, right? And because of that, it's hard for us to accept any type of rebuild or any type of let off. But the truth of the matter is, it's got to happen. It's got to happen, whether that means the Steelers and Mike Tomlin ends up having finally at some point having a losing season. If that means that the Steelers at some point go away from Mike Tomlin, whatever it means, we're going to have to go through the up and down. We have to, but we haven't done that. Think about it. Since Ben Roethlisberger took over, we have not seen a season where the Steelers have lost and had more losses than wins. That is a long time. And it's hard to get better like that. It just is. And so we got to be patient, but I think it's because we're so accustomed to the Steeler way and we got to win. We don't have no patience. We want rookies to be superstars. We want second-year players to be elite. You know what I'm saying? I think we all have been guilty of that at some point. I am much more or less guilty than that nowadays, guys, because I understand what it is. I know everybody wants to say, who cares about not having a losing record? But it matters. It really matters. Like, that should tell you something. It should tell you something where winning seasons are, I'm going to use the word that most people are using in Steeler Nation now. Fair. But imagine this. We are calling a winning season mediocrity. We calling that mediocre. Think about that for a second. We're calling a winning season mediocre. I understand why. I'm not disagreeing, but you understand what I'm saying? It's difficult to maintain that type of prestige or what have you. It is, man. It just is. Because we haven't had that low. Even the Ravens had a 5-11 season. We haven't had it. So, if you believe in prospects and the best players, we never in a position to get these folks. Oh, it's tough, man. And yet, somehow we compete. We seem to compete every year. It's something to that. It's something to that. And that's another reason why I would refuse to agree with anybody that says that Tomlin is a bad coach. Because, again, I'm not defending him, but there is no person on earth that's a coach that could do that. I don't think I could do it. And I could have a team of superstars, and I don't think I could do 18 seasons and not have a losing season. A bad coach can't do that. So it just is what it is, man. It's just a tough time right now for us Steelers fans. Let me grab this donation and then caller, I'm going to bring you right on. Walter Worthy, man, I appreciate the Wonder Bread. Thank you, sir. How long we been on tonight, by the way? Jeez, an hour and 6 minutes. So yeah, let's speed this up a little bit. But Walter Worthy says, unpopular take, but I actually think we need to run more. Yes. Be stubborn. Also run out of unexpected formations and some draws. Yes. And someone explained to me why Warren can't be a feature back. I don't disagree with you at all. I will say this too. Speaking of the run game, I told y'all I watched every single one of our runs. I'm here to tell you, there were a couple times, even Jaylen Warren missed the cutback. I sent it to Kenyon and I sent it to Tony. Kenyon is my witness. And Jaylen Warren has great vision, but there was a couple plays when I was like, oh no. Kenneth Gainwell did the same thing. Kept pressing to I'm like, yo, the lane, the zone read is designed for you to find the lane. Not saying anything bad about Jaylen Warren. What an outstanding catch and run that boy had. Oh my God. I'm just saying some of it, guys, is execution more than it is play call or scheme. I promise you. If you get an opportunity, if you don't want to pay the $100+ it is to have the NFL Pro, you can join the channel, man. It's $4.99. You ain't even got to be a channel member the whole month. If you just want to see, let me see what this all-22 is. It's going to cost you $5. And then, hey, the more of you guys that end up doing that, I'll start taking requests. Hey, what y'all want me to show? Because now I got the tool now that I can, fine-tune what I want, But all right, guys, I've talked too much. I do have at least one person here in the queue. Welcome. Thank you for calling in, man. You can go ahead and unmute yourself on your side. And what you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I just a couple of quick things. One, I appreciate your time. I really enjoy this during football season. Seb Broderick, I owe you an apology. He really, really stepped up this game. And I thought it was critical to the few successful plays that we had. To the point in regards to Mike Tomlin, I couldn't agree with you more. I despise the comments where people are just calling for this man's job every week. I mean, some of the most apparent comments that you'll hear, and it's like, we've been winning. What more could we ask for, especially with the quarterback selection that we've had post Ben Roethlisberger? That's been the most impressive thing to me. The one thing I do think, when you have been in a role for almost 25 years, a message can grow stale. And I know people talk about, Tomlin's motivation and how, they run through a brick wall for him, but it just clearly is not clicking. Something's not transferring to the field. And to the point that, this rookie comes in, I get it. He made a terrible mistake, but nobody else on the team but Jabril Peppers, who was not a Steeler, ran to the football. So something's not translating within the locker room and then to the field, and that's completely frustrating. But I'm riding, through this all the way. I've just grown impressed, as the team goes on, and hopefully we just can eke out some wins. That's all we need. And thank you very much.
Man, thanks for the call. Really, really appreciate you, man. I think you said a lot of key points here. You already did. I was about to say I'm just about to mute. So I could go on, but key point, listen, and I'm going to agree with the caller there. I will agree with you guys. It's been 18 years. I've been telling y'all that. Listen, you're not going to take away my feelings for Mike Tomlin when he's no longer a Pittsburgh Steelers coach. I can agree with you guys, and what the caller just said, maybe. Do I think we can still win with him? Yes, because I think he's a good coach. But I'm not opposed to the Steelers trying something different. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to fire him. I'm just saying, at this point, after 18 years, yes, I am open to change as well. If the Steelers decided they want to go into a different direction and all, I'm not going to complain about that. But the fact or the thought of Tomlin just being a bad coach, I just will never understand that. We can disagree with some of the things he does, but you know, maybe it's time. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but what I do know is hoping that he gets fired. You're just hoping. Hoping that Mike Tomlin gets fired is like you still believing in Santa Claus. You know what I mean? I'm feeling silly tonight, man, but I'm being real. Hoping that he's fired after never having a losing season, even if he has a losing season this time, and knowing the history of the Steelers organization, hoping that he's fired or asking for him to be fired is the equivalent of you still believing in Santa Claus. And that's just how I feel about that. And if you don't understand why I'm saying that, then I'm sorry. But I appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna post a link one more time, man. And yeah, CT, I got it figured out. I think that was CT Pittman that said I got the audio figured out, man. So we cooking with grease now. Last week, we won't quite gas. We had won't quite gas until later in the show, but I got it figured out now. So the audio levels are on and popping. So hold on, guys. Let me post the link one more time, man. If anybody wants to call in. Like I said, guys, I'm going to keep apologizing to y'all until I find, just dropped my phone. Where did it go? Until I find another method, man. Discord is all we got. And unfortunately, you do need an account to be able to join. So, but in the meantime, let's see what's in the chat real quick. Jermaine White says Marvin Lewis had a nice streak of winning seasons too, just throwing it out there. Fair point, but even with that, Tomlin's playoff record, even though it's not the greatest, is still better, and Tomlin won a Super Bowl. So not really the same comparison. But I guess I understand what you're saying. James White, I'm telling you, man, listen. I appreciate all this Wonder Bread, but man, you're going crazy. But thank you, sir. I do appreciate you. James Webb says, well, first, round of applause to him again. He says he agrees with Walter. Show a lead back like Connor. Warren can hit the hole and both can catch. Go nose. Absolutely. Let's go nose. Yeah, man. There's some more things that we definitely could do. Speaking of like, it just made me think about when you said a lead back. It made me think about lead block. Y'all remember that block that fullback put on Peyton Wilson? Oh, my Lord. Took out Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen was just collateral damage in that scenario because Peyton Wilson got beat so bad. Even Brian Baldinger broke that down, was like, how often do you see one guy take out both inside backers? But like I said, you can't get on Patrick Queen for that. It was Wilson. I mean, that was one of the prettiest, perfect lead blocks that you'll see. I mean, he blew Peyton Wilson up. You know, like my grandma used to say, man, Peyton Wilson appears to be a little light in the hampons. And for any of you guys that have any family from the South, man, y'all would understand that vernacular. Yeah, he a little light in the hampons. A little light. He needs some more weight, man, because yeah, boy. Good Lord. Light, and again, it's not hind parts, hind parts. That's how they say it in the South. You're a little light in the hind parts. Man, that was terrible, bro. Was terrible. But again, you know, guys got to win, man. That's what it is. They have to win. And again, watching the film, I saw a lot of the guys not winning. But hey, as we close this show out, I'm going to remind you guys, it's week dos. 1, 2. 1, 2. Dos. 2. That's it. It's week 2. If it's any consolation, last season, after the Steelers had 2 losses, they had 4 wins. So what I'm saying by that is, yeah, we are already at 1 loss, and it's week 2. But by the time we had 2 losses, or there was a point when the Steelers were 4-2, right? And 6-2, I think at one point. I'm just saying, we only in week 2 and we're 1-1. There's time. Yes, we got some. Yeah, we got a quite a hefty schedule. The more you look at it on paper, we got a hefty schedule. But listen, it's the big boy league. I'm no longer going to make an excuse for the schedule. The schedule is the schedule. We got to go out here. We got to see if we can get New England, and we got to see if we can get Minnesota. And I'm going to say this. Can't speak for New England. They're going to be tough. And, you know, from the looks of it, they might be able to give us a run. But I will say this. Minnesota don't look like the same Minnesota so far. They don't look like last year's Minnesota. Now, I like what they're trying to do with McCarthy, but they don't look scary. They don't look scary. But the schedule is the schedule. This is the big boy league. I'm not in the business of complaining about a hard schedule. That means battle tested. Our division is a tough out. Man, sorry to hear about Joe Burrow, man. That sucks. You know, I get it. We're competitive guys. I'm a competitive person by nature. Even when I'm a fan, I don't want to see it like that. That sucks. That really sucks. And it also sucks for me because I have Jamar Chase as my lead dog in fantasy. He went off this week, but is he still going to be able to go off without Joe Burrow? Who knows? But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. I thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, listen, man, if you're new to the channel, I saw 1 or 2 new subscribers pop up. Thank you for that. But don't forget to do this right here. Oh, we got another donation coming to you in a second. Don't forget, guys, whatever you do, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications if you don't do anything else. Please, the like button. Before we go, man, another piece of Wonder Bread. Thank you, Eric Rivera. Round of applause. He says the Eagles let Doug Peterson walk after taking them to the Super Bowl, and when Sirianni was hired, people complained, and look what happened. Yeah. So that's why I said, man, listen, I'm absolutely not opposed to the Steelers going in a different direction. The only problem with it is they're not going to fire him. And if my calculations are correct, Mike Tomlin has 2 more seasons after this one. So I'm just not going to waste my time asking for a new coach, complaining about none of that. Even if that's how I felt, it's a pointless conversation right now until he's up for negotiation again. They're either going to renew or not. So again, and by that point, it would be 20 years. And after 20 years, who can be mad? But yeah, that's all I got, man. But also, guys, before y'all go, you know I'm always going to remind you, hey, man, stay safe, stay blessed, stay healthy. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I think this might be another Sunday of mine where I don't get to see the game in real time. So I'll be around at some point to do the post game. And I should be to you guys at some point on Saturday, maybe Friday. It might have to be Friday. I don't know, but we'll get a pregame show in at some point. But I think I got a pretty tight weekend. But you guys should hear from me again before we play the game. And hopefully the Steelers right the ship, man, and we'll see. But all right, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. Like always, thank you all for tuning in. And with that, I say, peace.